Well, 2018 has passed, and we're in a new year right now. 2019, wow, time does fly. With the game being out for several years already, we've seen massive strides in the game's development in the last 12 months. Starting out with, of course, with Apocalypse, removing a big chunk of the FTL mechanics and polishing things up and making things more modular. Immediately followed by Distant Stars, in my opinion, still one of the best releases so far, at least since Utopia. And finally, in December, wrapping it all up with the Megacorp expansion, as well as Le Guin, which obviously changed the game quite significantly in terms of its generalized setup. And overall, I think Stellaris has had a fascinating time behind it, because, well, what can we really say? The development of the game is not going to stop. We've recently had the stepping down of Martin Onward, the previous game lead on Stellaris, of course, and being handed over towards Daniel Moragord and all that stuff. And that is actually a really interesting little scenario, because we're actually on the cusp of seeing new ideas for Stellaris being implemented. And not even that, we're also having the release of
System surveyed.
The Stellaris console edition on the horizon, which by itself is actually incredibly cool. But that's not why we're here today. I want to take the time to thank you all for continuing to support the channel. We grew over 60,000 users in the last 12 months. 60,000 of you have decided to hit that subscribe button in the last 12 months, and it is really incredible to see the amount of support that has come out from our little community. Starting, of course, the Discord channel was incredibly popular. We have over 3,000 people in there as well. If you want to join in, the Discord channel is below. And I started out doing a couple of ideas and trying out new formats, trying out new concepts, playing around a little bit with Frostpunk and all that stuff. Basically, things that I thought were really, really enjoyable in over time, basically. And Frostpunk's not going to end, no, because that game is still being in active development, something that we've been seeing with Stellaris as well. Then, of course, we had the Gleam competitions at the end of the year. One of the main reasons for that is I wanted to drive subscriptions, if anything else. In all honesty, mainly because I had a discussion with Spiffing Brit, and he was like, yeah, if I hit 100,000 subscribers by Christmas, I'm going to do some Fortnite. Thank God he did not manage to hit that 100,000, but I was fascinated by his approach, and basically with using his example of driving subscribers seems to do really, really well. And as of right now, on the 1st of January 2019, we are only a few thousand away from hitting that 100,000 subscriber mark. I am expecting to hit it in about 6 or so days, hopefully on January the 7th, which is going to be my birthday, which would be perfect. Complete. But still, you know, it's not the number that matters. It's about the amount of people that are interested in the game and continuing being interested in the game. Stellaris has been one of the best sellers on Steam in 2018, in the top 24, completely outcompeting all of the other Paradox games. Sure, Crusader Kings and Europa Universalis have been out of the market for a longer time, but I think there is quite a lot of demand on the market for a game like this, and especially considering the amount of support that we're seeing from the developers by continuously building on the game as we have. We've gone through 2 game designers already, and the third one's coming in. That means fresh ideas, fresh directions. We've already had some clue of where we're going to go into, which is the diplomatic expansion, the final keystone for making the game, in my personal opinion, perfect from a base point of view. Of course, there's always things that I don't agree with. For instance, the sector system, I think it's absolutely terrible. I'm going to talk about that in a different video. But still, it's great to see. In addition, I probably should have touched on this earlier because I don't have a script for this one. The competitions that we were running, 11,000 people signed up for them. And for those of you who don't know, I was giving away 6 copies of Megacorp, basically one of each, one Megacorp, one Utopia, one Apocalypse, one Leviathans, one Synthetic Dawn, and one Distant Stars. I have already drawn who is actually gotten the codes themselves. I sadly cannot disclose those at the moment due to GDPR rules and all that stuff, and I want to take it really careful when it comes to these sort of things, and I will have to get rid of the data at some point as well once the competition is done, which it is now. And those codes will be going out to the respective winners soon. What I can tell you is that it was a nice mixture between North America, South America, Europe, and also one Asian person managed to win one of the codes. What does this mean? Are we going to do more of those in the future? Yes, we will most likely do more of those in the future, because I want to share my appreciation with people, because I'm getting quite a lot of people saying, hey, I don't own this expansion. Hey, I don't have this, I don't have that. And that's totally understandable. What that means is that A, I will most likely be doing more competitions and giveaways in the future, and I will finally be starting to do multiplayer sessions with subscribers and Discord followers as well, starting in 2019. Mostly because my first child will be born sometime during this year. I can't really go into many details about that. And yeah, I will be going on a extended paternity leave. That means that I will have some more time to A, take care of a small child, and B, also be at home a little bit more and do scripting while the child is sleeping and take care of that sort of thing. So that is also really exciting. Then of course, console edition, I kind of touched upon that a little bit earlier in the video. I don't know when it's coming out. I know a lot of people are super excited about it. I played around with it a little bit at Gamescom in 2018. From what I've seen, it is an interesting interface. It uses what is effectively the Utopia version of the game, or at least one before it. I think it's a 1.5. I'm not entirely sure. Complete. But if I manage to get my hands on it, I will be doing specific videos for that particular version of the game, which then gradually over time will most likely follow up on the PC version. Now, in terms of the PC version, a lot of you may be wondering, when is this going to end? When is the game quote-unquote complete? A game like Stellaris, especially when it comes from a PDS game, is not complete until, well, it is complete at release to a certain extent. They will continue making content for it as long as there is demand for it. And that's one of my most worrying things when it comes to sequels in the current DLC model or expansion model for Paradox games. And that is that their games are starting to get so incredibly large. Crusader Kings, for instance, has now it's over 7 years of material in it. You can't just make a sequel on that, and that is kind of worrying. The same thing can be said about EU4 and maybe at some point about Stellaris as well. But will we see a sequel to Stellaris? Yes, we will. That is pretty much a guarantee. As Frederick Wester, the former CEO of Paradox Interactive, once said, if a game is successful, there will be a sequel. And so far, as considering the game has sold probably well over 1 million copies, if not 2, but I don't know the details. But yeah, sequels will most likely be coming, but probably not until 2024, if not longer. It's gonna take quite some time. What I do expect, actually, is that we're going to be seeing more games in a Stellaris-like universe. Maybe a franchise or something like that. If the console edition is a success, I would not be surprised if we're going to see more games playing on the Stellaris universe and whatnot. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick channel update. We're very, very close to the 100K. Very exciting about that. And yeah, we're going to go and wrap it up here. The first video of 2019. It was a rambly one, and I want to keep it under 10 minutes because then people can't accuse me of doing it for mid-roll purposes. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, have a great 2019 and each other.